So first of all, let me thank you so much for the honor to give a talk at the Jornadas de Informática en Salud. It is a great pleasure, and I was asked to talk about IAHSI, the International Academy on Health Sciences Informatics, and on the current considerations on its strategy and focus areas. For the start, let me maybe go back and think about why do we now have such an international academy on health sciences informatics. The occasion was a meeting in Geneva in the World Health Organization in December 2013. There was a technical advisory group on e-health discussing with WHO officials what can we do by digitization for the health of the people. Those of us who participated from the health informatics side, they felt that it would be helpful for organizations like WHO to get independent advice on a high maturity level, so to say. And based on this, discussions were started and to found such an Academy of Sciences, being an international academy and devoted to health informatics or medical informatics or biomedical informatics. In the various countries, we have different terms for that field. Finally, it was established in 2017. And what you see here is a brief summary taken from the website of the Academy and of the website of the International Medical Informatics Association. Let me read it. The International Academy of Health Sciences Informatics, established in 2017 through the auspice of Emea. This is the International Medical Informatics Association, and as a component of this association is National Academy recognized internationally. Now, about the goal here in one sentence, the goal is simply to promote the dissemination of knowledge and best practices of informatics, actually foster new ideas and encourage worldwide cooperation and sharing, and the sharing of expertise and resources. Now I should say something on IMIA. The Academy is part of IMIA, the Medical Informatics Association. And you see here, maybe you can see it, it's a little bit dark. You can see here the continents of our world, and you see here regional organizations belonging to IMIA. Here, by the way, is IMIA LAC, so the IMIA regional organizations for Latin America and the Caribbean. And you see here also IAHSI, the Academy, serving as an honor society. And recognizing expertise in biomedical and health informatics internationally. Now, what are the objectives of the Academy? Here you see the 8 objectives proposed in 2018. By the way, all the references you can find here, you can access through IMIA's and IAHSI's website, and all of these documents are open access so that you can go into detail if you are interested. And you see here the objectives. The major objective is that the Academy attempts to contribute to the health of the people in our world. How to do that? The Academy is intended to be engaged in advising governments or organizations like the World Health Organization on developing health and science through informatics. We want to stimulate progress in informatics research, education and practice, and we want to share and exchange knowledge. So for this, the Academy needs a structure and organization. And here the Academy is following the traditional structure and organization of scientific societies or of academies of sciences. Here the statement that membership of the Academy is one of the highest honors in informatics internationally. As part of IMIA, Academy meetings, when they take place physical, which is now not the case right now, meetings of the Academy take place where also IMIA meets. So the Medinfo conferences, for example, or the regional conferences, like the conferences of PAMI or of IMIA LAC. And we try to keep our structure and our organization as lean and as unbiased as possible. Now about the members. Currently, there are 179 members in the Academy. You can see here that in 2017, there was the inaugural class of fellows having been elected. From then on, the elections take place by the fellows of the Academy, and there were two classes now elected, the 2018-90 class and quite recently the 2020 class. What you can see here on the left are the eligibility criteria. What are the criteria that colleagues can be elected to the company? First of all, this is, of course, accomplishment. What do the colleagues have achieved? Then it is recognition. Often, fellows of the International Academy of Health Sciences Informatics are also members of the National Academies of Sciences. And global engagement. Global engagement means that beyond national engagement, there were contributions to the regions, for example, within Latin America, within Europe, within Africa, or internationally. What we try to consider as an academy, in addition to, of course, considering the eligibility criteria for the colleagues, is that we have regional balance and gender balance. You can see here the gender balance is not really 50% to 50% in any way. We have, fortunately, now quite a lot of female colleagues. It should be more. And when you look here at the regional balance, here we have the 6 regions where we typically divide our world, also within IMIA and in the United Nations and in the World Health Organization. We have a certain majority in North America and Europe. And we also have members, and this is of great importance, of regions like the Middle East, like Latin America, like the Asia-Pacific region or the African region. If you are interested on how to get nominated, here is a link on the nomination form. Now on the strategy of the Academy, and if I go back to the pyramid here, you see here eight components, so to say, and these components were mapped again here in a different way. And here you see the differentiation. The overarching goal is to contribute to the health of the people in our world. And here we have the 3 important strategic directions. The rest is organization, meetings and so on. SD2, SD3 and SD4, they are the strategic directions. I can only touch them, and I can strongly recommend to have a look at the document where the strategy and focus areas are explained in more detail. So, advising governments and organizations in developing health and health sciences through informatics, stimulating the progress of informatics, biomedical and health informatics in research, education and practice, and also sharing and exchanging knowledge. Currently, we are preparing so-called task forces, or we may also call them panels. And we discussed, the fellows of the Academy, where do we want to put priorities? And one task force, which is now short before being really established and then working, is on health informatics standards. Yeah, reflecting on standards and giving advice to the governments in the world, and also, of course, to sharing the knowledge on how to apply these standards and what are the pros and cons of specific standards. So this will be probably one of the highest priorities then in the task force work, to work on that. There was also a movement in saying there is now such a progress in artificial intelligence and the collaborations between humans and so-called intelligent machines, also in healthcare, that we have to work on this and give recommendations again to governments and so on. So this might be a next option. Where we already intensively discussed about is in the so-called computable knowledge. How can we make our knowledge on diagnostics, on therapeutics, on prevention, and so on, better available so that it can be used and analyzed by machines. So not only by humans, however, that machines can support us in analyzing this knowledge. This is the computable knowledge part. So these are the focus areas where we will probably focus in the future years in the work of the Academy. I also added here something else. This is a statement we made to WHO in March when the pandemic with the SARS-CoV-2 virus influenced all of our lives, and we wrote recommendations to the Director General of the World Health Organizations on the use of informatics in such pandemic situations. Also, this statement you can access on our websites, and we will probably have, we will continue to have such statements in the future. Such organizations are people. There are 179 people, among them really wonderful persons who served for me also as teachers, and I read so many of their papers, so to say, and so there are many of them are role models for me. I cannot present now the 179. What I thought is at least I should present you the board, the current board of IAHSI, and that you can see how we work. And you can see here, by the way, Hospital Italiano, probably most of you know then Paola Otero from Hospital Italiano. She's a member of the board and secretary of IAHSI. Here you see Marion Ball from the United States, one of our great leaders in health informatics for many decades. Elaine Using is our chief executive officer and organizing all the things we are doing. Bill Hirsch from Portland, Oregon, also in the United States, is the future president, my successor after the next plenary meeting at the end of November this year. Well, you see myself, and you see Michio Kimura, the treasurer from Hamamatsu in Japan. Not on the picture is IMIA President Sabine Koch, also an ex-officio member of the board, and Don Detmer. He will be one of the future members from the United States, coming from the United States, and will be a member at large from November on. By the way, of course, we have those meetings virtual. And for me, it was a wonderful time. Also for Sabine, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. For those two guys, it's 7 o'clock in the morning. For Paula, it was nice. I think it was 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock. For Marion also. For Michio, it is close to midnight when the meetings are. Nevertheless, we work and it works. I thought as the Jornadas de Informática en Salud will take place physically, of course, mostly virtually, but physically they are hosted in Buenos Aires. I should mention the IAHSI members coming from Argentina, and you all are aware of Fernand Quiros, a great person with a lot of responsibility for the health of the people in Argentina. Daniel and Paula also from Hospital Italiano, members of the Academy, and quite recently elected Diego Caminker, also a great person for our Academy. And here you see the other members of IMIA, the IMIA LAC region, quite a lot of Brazil, so of the Portuguese-speaking part of Latin America, and then very well distributed, I think, among the Latin American countries who are Spanish-speaking. Now, this is my last slide. What was the intention? As when Paula Otera asked me, could I give the talk? It's a great pleasure to inform you about the Academy, why it was founded, what the objectives are, and how we are working. And so also what our strategy is, and where the focus areas are, where we will concentrate our work in the future. I also want to highlight that we are part of IMIA, and I can invite all of you to join IMIA. And now I see there's an I missing, and IMIA LAC's activities, so the regional activities beyond Argentina. Why there? Of course, at least I could learn so much from people from other countries than Germany, where I'm hosted, but also that many problems we have in health informatics are similar all over the world. And strangely, even there's not such a big divide in developing countries and developed countries. The problems are not the same, but rather similar. And collaborating jointly on these problems is something I can only encourage all of you to do that. And so I want to invite all of you to participate in IMIA's activities, to attend the conferences like the MedInfo conferences, like other conferences, but also to participate in IMIA's working groups, work there. And of course, I also look forward to many distinguished colleagues from Latin America to become member of the Academy. So more information, as mentioned, here's the link on IMIA's website, and go to IAHSI's web pages, and there you'll find all the statements, the announcements, the documents, and more information on the Academy. And with that, I thank you for your attention. Sorry that I couldn't talk in Spanish, but I can say gracias por su atención, at least. And during the conference, of course, I very much look forward to your comments and to your questions. Thank you.
Wow, thank you very much, Reinhold, for such a, in 20 minutes, just summarizing up what IAHSI is and what IMIA is. So I will switch between English and Spanish so that everyone can understand. Bueno, le estaba agradeciendo a Reinhold, la verdad, como en 20 minutos puede resumir toda la actividad que hizo y lo que apunta el IAHSI y a lo que apunta también IMIA. Entonces, mi primera pregunta para él es, que él un poco lo dijo en la charla, ¿no? Es decir, ¿cómo podemos hacer para acercarnos y de alguna manera salir de nuestra manzana, de nuestra región, de nuestro país, para empezar a tener algún tipo de relación? Y cómo a través de qué actividades desarrolla IMIA y que expanda un poquito más todo lo que significa el Congreso de MedInfo, los cuales nosotros somos participantes muy activos. So Reinhold, thank you once again for providing in 20 minutes a whole lot of things that you have done through IMIA and through IAHSI. And my question would be to the people that are just starting in academia, based on your experience, what would be your suggestion? So where to start to get involved? In what working groups? What MedInfo, obviously MedInfo, but what do you suggest to the young people they want to start working on education in health informatics?
Can you hear me, Paula? Okay, good. So,
Perfect.
yeah, great. So where to start? My first recommendation is you will probably have a National Society of Health Informatics in Argentina, to work there, to go to working groups, then also to attend the IMIA LAC meetings and the IMIA LAC working groups. And of course, IMIA is the global organization. You can just access the website and go to the working groups, and everyone is invited to participate. Now, Paula, you asked into which working groups. This is depending on the interests. Yeah, so I very much like to work in the working groups on education with you. Yeah, as you remember. And also on hospital information systems, for example. Other are interested in other things.
Good. Bueno, let me just translate your answer. Bueno, Reinhold decía que obviamente un poco lo que yo le preguntaba, es bueno involucrarse con los diferentes grupos de trabajo. No hay un grupo de trabajo especial, sino aquel que ustedes consideren que resulte interesante. Los grupos de trabajo son abiertos y lo bueno que tiene los grupos de trabajo es que tienen representantes de todo el mundo y no hace falta ser de alguna manera ser académico ya con muchos años de experiencia, sino que son muy bienvenidas las personas jóvenes. Y después también las reuniones, tanto las reuniones de IMIA como Medinfo, son un buen punto de partida para poder avanzar. No sé si alguien quiere hacer una pregunta por el chat, si no yo mientras tanto voy haciendo otra. My next question would be, you spoke a whole lot about IAHSI nominations, and I believe that this is the next step in academia from a worldwide point of view. It's not just one country, but we get together, and the IAHSI gatherings we have are really interesting because we can, those that are not in a developed world can learn a lot of not only of the assets, but of all the negative issues that might have arisen. But I believe that Latin America is starting to grow. What would you suggest for a region that is so young in health informatics to start growing as a group and to have more representation in IAHSI? Let me just translate to Spanish. Es decir, él mostró que nosotros somos un lugar que está en desarrollo, que todavía no hay tanto explosión académica en informática en salud en la región, por más que se trabaja activamente en ello. Entonces digo, ¿qué deberíamos hacer como región para poder crecer en informática en salud y tener mayor representación en este componente internacional? Please go ahead.
My first recommendation would once again be please organize the regional conferences, the IMIA LAC conferences, and work in working groups there. Let me take the example of Argentina and Buenos Aires. We can learn a lot on how you work on your health system, yeah, the learning health system, as you call it, yeah, and then communicate it. Maybe I stop here and then I come to the second.
Yes, sounds good. Good. We all are on the same path. I'm just, because we are running out of time, so you know that here is also Valerio. Valerio is saying it's a pleasure to see and to hear Reinhold.
And greetings, please. Yeah, I do not see him, but yeah.
So let me tell you, maybe I'm ruining a surprise, but it's not a surprise. As part of our annual meeting, we have a recognition to different people that have been leaders in the it's a recognition and award. And on the closure of the closing ceremony, that's going to be on Wednesday afternoon, Valeria is going to be recognized by all of us, thanks to all that he has given us and let us lead the way to advance. So just let me thank you once again. You know, we have a lot of activities simultaneously, and the thing is, the rooms, you have to leave them, and it's quite difficult. Estaba diciendo a Reinhold que Valerio Jacobson, que lo acaba de saludar, porque son muy amigos, se conocen de hace muchos años, y le estaba comentando que nosotros
sí.
todos los años, desde hace 3 años, estamos dando un reconocimiento a todos aquellos líderes que han marcado el rumbo a la informática en salud, y este año pensamos que Valerio era quien lo merecía, así que los esperamos a todos en el cierre. So Reinhold, if you want to say something as your final words, and we can close the session.
Greetings to you and greetings to Valerio. I miss him and it's a pity not to see him. Gracias.
Sorry, muchas gracias. And Dankeschön, it's in German?
Yeah, good.
Good. So, bueno, muchas gracias a todos y bueno, seguimos con las otras actividades. Thank you.
Okay, goodbye.
Bye-bye.